Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 19 of the Nekozuki Knits podcast. Today is Thursday, November 26th, 2015, and my name's Katie, and I'm coming to you from a wintry Cochrane, Alberta, Canada. I'd like to welcome any new viewers and welcome back any returning viewers. Thanks so much for joining me, and hopefully you've got a beverage and you're knitting and you're able to sit down and enjoy this episode. Winter has definitely hit here in Cochrane. I've dug my down jacket out of the closet so that it's handy. And I'm super glad now that we're going away to a very warm, semi-tropical to tropical location on Tuesday. We've already had to shovel our driveway 3 times. I had to do it once because I didn't want to have to drive over it into the garage because then you get ice under it and everything. And that melted the next morning, but that was fine. And then driving Dallas to work on Tuesday, the everything was snow covered. So we had to shovel before we left, and then I had to shovel actually when I came back, and there's a good another like inch of snow. But it was really easy to clear because it had been like windswept, so it had that hard layer on top, so it just kind of broke apart like snow flows, kind of like an ice flow. Anyway, hi and welcome, and this is a knitting podcast. Although weather does obviously have a big factor in that. I am in my collared petal cape right now because it's a little bit chilly in the house. I don't keep our heat super high, and because it's a new house, it's venting still, and it's really high humidity in here. Like, they told us to keep the house around 30 to 40% humidity. And we have the humidifier off because Cochrane is not a humid place. However, because of like everything kind of just like evaporating, I guess, like the wood and stuff like that still drying out, we're currently sitting like 45 to 50%. I have it down to 43% right now, but the air exchange process takes up a lot of it, but it still comes back. So I'm still battling that. I do keep our temperature down a little bit. A, it makes the cats cuddly, and B, it's saving on energy. So hence the knitwear. Not like I'm super cold, but I can wear wool a lot. Like, I run cold, so I can wear it a lot longer and a lot more often, it seems like, than some folks. Like Dallas. I know for sure. Wool socks are fine, but like cardigans and stuff like that are out of the question. Although I am considering, I've heard that worsted wool can be warmer than like DK or sport weight. So I'm thinking maybe a DK sport weight sweater might be in the works for him. There is a men's pattern that I want to design, and I have the idea in mind, and he would be the model. So I'm thinking I might use like the vintage DK because it's also a lower wool mix, or like a lower wool content, and an acrylic nylon mix, so that hopefully it would actually make the sweater cooler. Actually, if you've ever done anything like that, let me know. Is DK weight or sport weight lighter and more like cooler than a worsted weight? And I understand that like the wool versus the acrylic wool nylon blend is going to be very different, but I would be curious to know just even the difference between like a worsted wool and a DK weight wool, because that might be something for him in future. Anyway, I'm really light on the knitting content this week because most of what I'm working on is all secret. I'm working on Christmas gifts for 2 people, and then I am working on actually this is the one non-secret item, so I'll show it to you now. I cast on the Big Squeeze from Ancient Arts yarn. And I'm actually practicing the lever knitting as taught by the Yarn Harlot. And I'm really enjoying it. It's going to be a lot faster and a lot easier on my hands. I can tell that, although it's going to take some getting used to. And I really like this linen stitch. I basically just cast on down here and then linen stitched. However, this yarn is so squishy, and you can see that in the ribbing, that I don't want to use something that squishes it so much. So I'm actually going to rip out the linen stitch part and keep the ribbing and figure out what I want to do. This is going to be a cowl. It's just going to wrap around, and then there's going to be buttonhole band on the other side. And this is something that I will write up eventually for a pattern to release on Ravelry. And I will write up the linen stitch one too, but I don't like how it's so compact for this yarn, because this yarn's too, it's the big squeeze. And like, look at this cake, it's so squishy, like, yeah, there you go, you can totally see that. It's got such nice bounce and everything that I don't want to compact it so that you don't see the benefits of like having this bulky yarn. So yeah, that's the only thing I'm working on that you can actually see right now. And don't worry, I'll share the rest of it after Christmas once the recipients have gotten everything. And I just don't know if they watch it. Well, I know one for sure watches the podcast, and then the other I don't know, so we're not going to bring it on. And then I have a half-finished object, a hoe, which is a design, which currently is actually blocking in front of my fire. So we're not going to, I'm not going to show that to you. I do prefer keeping my sweater designs more on the designs in general, more on the secretive side up until I publish the pattern. And this is definitely the case, but I can let you know that it's a sweater vest, and I am done the front. And I want to finish the back by Sunday, because this is something I want to be able to wear down in Florida when we travel down there. I did do some spinning, and so I actually support spindled some of the Rolags I was talking about last week from Nomad Fiberworks. And you can see there's just a hint of sparkle in there, and they're spinning nicely. I'm not very consistent yet, but I'm happy with how thin and fairly consistent I'm getting. It definitely took some work though to figure it out. And this actually caused a whole bunch of tension all in here for me. So I've been doing a whole bunch of stretches and like trying to rest it up a bit, but knitting isn't so bad except for this movement. It like pops my wrist right in here, and it's totally from actually like spinning this. It's the same muscles that would do this. So I'm giving the supported spindling a break up until my wrist recovers a bit more, because I really don't want it to cut into my knitting time, especially considering that I do want to finish a sweater vest back in 3 days. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I've got 3 full days still, and tonight. So I'm going to cast on tonight. So 3.5 days. Let's see. So I did want to mention that I did finish, for reading and read works and everything like that, I did finish Queen of the Tearling by Erica Johansson. I also finished The Movement of Stars by Amy Brill. I'm not sure if I brought this up or if I talked about it. I don't have it in my show notes as far as I can remember on Ravelry. And if I did, I just started it, but I never told you that I finished it or what I thought of it. And I really enjoyed it. It took a little bit to get into, but it's a really good book, and I would recommend it for pretty much everybody. It's not super explicit, although there are some love scenes towards the end, kinda, not really. I guess that might be a little bit of a spoiler, sorry. But yeah, really enjoyable. Apparently based on a true story of a Quaker girl who actually did all of this. So take a read. I got it at a bargain at Chapters actually quite a few months ago, and just hadn't had a chance to read it yet, but I really enjoyed it. So that's The Movement of Stars by Amy Brill. But definitely older teen to adult. Just for themes and questions of spirituality and all of that, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it. Then the other one I finished was Winter by Marissa Meyer, and this was the last book in the Lunar Chronicles series. To be honest, I did not enjoy this as much as I did the rest of the series. I really enjoyed the other 4 books. Like, I really enjoyed Cinders and Cress. Fairest was excellent. Scarlet was my second least favorite, but and this one beat Scarlet, mostly because I'm not a big fan of the Little Red Riding Hood fairy tale in general, and that's just my personal taste. The other part of it is I really enjoyed the characters from Cinder. like Cinder and Kai, and then I really enjoyed the characters from Cress and Thorn. This has definitely got its moments, which I really enjoyed. I'm really glad, really happy with how it kind of tied everything up. But I did find that the kind of end after the climax was a bit dissatisfying. I think that's the biggest part. So yeah, but I would still read it. I would read this whole series again, and I will. I need to track down Cress because I'm not quite sure where it ended up in the move, but it will be a series that I read again. And then finally, I'm working on the sequel to The Invasion of the Tierling by Erica Johansson. So this is the sequel to Queen of the Tierling. I think I mentioned Queen of the Tierling was slightly dissatisfying as well. There's lots of like times where I'm just like, it blew my mind in the way that it was being done. A lot of the information that the character should have, she didn't have, because the author was using it as a way to like have an expose for the reader, which is all well and good, except it was stuff that the character should know, like no questions. But it got better towards the end, so I figured I would continue with The Invasion of the Tierling because I enjoyed it enough that I want to get the rest of the story at least. And this one's definitely better than the first one, but I haven't finished yet. I still have quite a bit left, so I'm going to reserve final judgment on this one for a bit. Again, older teen to adult. I would put this at least 17 and up, simply because it is bloody and has lots of adult themes and language. Again, any of these are based on my personal reckoning. I can't tell you what your child should read if you have children listening to this, or you're a child listening to this. If you're a child listening to this, discuss it with your parents. Parents, definitely take a look into it for your child. Okay. So this is going to go into miscellaneous and then shop news, and actually this is going to go into miscellaneous and then podiversary news, because the next time I podcast will be December 14th, which is the podiverse 1 year anniversary of the podcast. And we have a visitor. Here's Dahlia, or Tiny Overlord 2 if you're looking for her on Instagram. She might actually settle down tonight if I put my leg down. Anyway, so miscellaneous. We put our Christmas lights up, which is fantastic. Dallas crawled up on the ladder and we just did the quick clip lights and they all went up. And then I had gotten some like fake pine with some light garland that I was going to put either on our pillars just outside the door or inside. And then we looked at it and we figured we could actually swag it from our garage, which is exactly what we did, and it turned out really nice. So, and it balances the LED up top a lot better because it's actually an incandescent bulb in the swag. So we did that, and then Sunday we had Friendsgiving, which is our version of American Thanksgiving. Now, we are in Canada, so October Thanksgiving, or Canadian Thanksgiving, is when we generally spend with, or was when we generally spend with family. And then we do a second Thanksgiving around American Thanksgiving, so that all our friends can get together and stuff like that. And it's kind of a Christmas celebration too, because everybody gets so busy that we don't want to kind of like run into other events that will be happening in December. So yeah, Friendsgiving's really good. We make the turkey and host. We had 18 people over, plus 2 small ones, 16 to 18, somewhere in there. There was a lot of plates used, and it was a big turkey. We had, it was 10 kilos, so it was about 22 pounds, which is the biggest turkey I've ever made. Or if we do it again, we'll be needing a bigger roasting pan for sure, because it took a really long time, even though we have convection. Like, the times were completely misjudged. So we think that's in part because of the pan. Finally, we're going to Disney World. So we're going to be out from December 1st, and then the shop will be reopening December 15th. I am putting it into vacation mode because I can't ship anything, and I have a feeling that if I left it out, and even if I put disclaimers, there'd be lots of very upset folk that tried to order bags. But we're going to Disney. I'm super excited. We have, we're staying at Port Orleans Riverside. Sorry. And we're going with my in-laws, so this is their first trip, which is really cool too. And yeah, we're doing the parks, and then we lucked out. There's actually a launch at Kennedy Space Center of a rocket. So we shifted some plans around so that we could go see that. And then we have tickets to the Christmas party, which we've never done any of the Halloween parties when we've been down there in October. And so we figured we may as well try the Christmas party. We also don't know how busy it's going to be, so I don't know if this is the only time we'll really go for the Christmas period or not. Although it's supposed to be one of their best weeks, or 2 weeks to go. So we'll see. Super excited. So, but leaving on Tuesday, and then, yeah, returning a couple weeks later. Let's see what else. So I will be recording on the 14th, like I said, because it's Podiversary. I've been recording for a year, and obviously this is the 19th episode, so I have missed a few. It's about every 2 weeks. But I did want to mention that there will be a couple prizes. One of those prizes is going to be a skein of Ancient Arts yarn, the Calico Cat on the Superwash BFL wool. Now this is a 4-ply fingering. It is a light fingering, however. But yeah, this is by the same folks that donated the skeins last week. And I've got lots in stash because I overbought a few years ago, actually. And ended up with too much. I was planning to make a cardigan, but swatching it, the pooling was just a little bit too crazy. And I was talking with the dyer the other day, and she was like, yeah, and if you didn't know what it was, it would look like Halloween colors. And yeah, it definitely has that kind of like vintage Halloween tones. So anyway, one skein will be up for grabs. And then I'm also going to throw in as a separate prize, I'm going to do a draw for a small bag of the winner's choice from my shop when it's available. And basically how this is going to run is I'm going to put up a thread in the Ravelry group. I would like to hear about your goals for next year and what you're going to do. Obviously it's been a full year. I'm pretty sure I talked about goals in some point here, and I'll talk more about goals in the next episode. But what are your goals for next year if you set goals? If you don't set goals, let me know. You can still enter. You must be a member of the group, and that's pretty much it. I will leave this open until I record, so on the 14th. And then we can go through and you can do your selection of the bag on the 15th when I reopen the shop. If you win that, if not, you'll win this skein, and then we'll sort it all out from there. So yeah, so that's what's happening for the Podiversary. And then finally, I wanted to mention that I am actually having a sale in the shop from November 27th, or tomorrow, Friday, to November 29th, Sunday, for Black Friday and Small Business Saturday. So it's free shipping. So what you'll need to use is the coupon code 2015 Black Friday. I will insert that here so that you can actually see it. And it's also posted in the announcement on the Etsy shop as well. And yeah, that's good for any products that are currently in the shop. And it is closing on, well, basically I'm running the sale through Sunday, and then I'm closing the shop on Monday because we're leaving on Tuesday. So Monday will give me a day to catch up on all the orders, if any come in at all. And yeah, I hope that you guys find something. If you've been waiting a little bit to actually do any purchasing, definitely a good time because I don't put sales on very often. Black Friday is generally the only day that I do, actually. Well, or this kind of like Black Friday through Cyber Monday weekend. Obviously I can't do Cyber Monday, but it'll be available for the 3 days. So again, 2015 Black Friday. And that's all for this week. It's a super short episode for y'all. But I hope that you all enjoy. For all the American folks that watch, happy Thanksgiving. And if you're going out for Black Friday sales, please be careful. If you're shopping online for Black Friday, have fun. Thanks so much, and I will talk to you all in a couple weeks after I'm hopefully more refreshed from my vacation and ready to get back into sewing a little bit more after Christmas for sure. Thanks so much all, and have a lovely couple of weeks. Bye.